She attacks the frame, his motivation. You're pretending to care about women because you're acknowledging these psychological patterns.
So you did this earlier in your conversation with the president, and you're doing it once more.
They are something. Your game being played. The way to combat that game is to get more, to go a level deeper by asking questions. That's where you can find that there is foundation.
Accusation of hate, particularly one that's formulated it begins with the proposition that I was comparing transgender people to those who participated in satanic rituals, which is not at all what I said. All men on the Joe Rogan special is not a question with substance, and that's for sure. It's not a question at all. It's a form of moralizing Pharisaism that's designed to reputation.
It's too far away.
The target of the question is precisely the manner that female personalities characterized by social bullying are particularly proficient at. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that question.
Defend our face. Okay, this is gonna be close. We need at least 10 gold. They're getting so close to the base. Okay, you know what? 5 will do. Let's put the Archer Tower. There we go. The defense is looking good. Nice. Wait, they're coming from the right side as well. I'm getting double penetrated. Okay, let's build the second Archer Tower. There we go. The wall is on. Oh, nice. Okay, the boss is approaching. We need some bolts here. 15 should do. Let's build another Archer Tower. Nice. There we go. Now they're getting triple penetrated. Gold coming in the boss tower as well. Okay, can we build the 4th wall? This is gonna require a lot of gold. So let's defend. This is King Shot, and it's completely free to play. Just tap to download it.
Is I have to compare hundreds of travel sites at once to do things myself. No machine is better than me.
Search one and done.
Hey folks, Dr. Mike here from Restraint. Today I'm putting Jeff Nippert's pure bodybuilding training program. It's new. I'm putting it to the test. Let's find out if I get huge or jacked. The last set RPE is going to be 10, 90.5 or 10. RPE could look pretty extreme.
I'm out of range.
At least know how to train hard like me, but basically never do it. Also like me, actually try it out. So, let's get started. Cigarette and orange juice, you guys. But, the first thing I have to do, I'm following this step by step by the book. Mr. Jeff Nippert, holler at your boy. I got this program, Pure Bodybuilding Program, PDF. I'm gonna write on screen. This is Scott the video, guys.
Botrix has correctly joined the channel.
Material behind it. Knows what that guy's up to. I don't even know where he is. Where's Scott's video guy? Just swing that camera around, give him some love. He's gonna say no, he's gonna edit this out, but he won't do it. Jeff says, perform the following general workout before every workout. Should take you 5 to 10 minutes max. You can save time by doing some of the dynamic stretches as you do nonsense for the first exercise. All right, so 5 to 10 minutes, cardio on a machine of your choice, treadmill, stairmaster, elliptical, bike, etc. Cool. And then afterwards, we got some kind of moving around stuff. Give me a sec. Max, don't stop rolling. Okay, that was a cool walk. That's cardio, and that's a body walk completed. This is actually a really good idea for most people. The thing is, I don't do general warm-ups much because I find myself quite warm all the time. I weigh 235 pounds. I'm hairy as shit. I'm Russian, so I don't have a warming up problem. But I really do like the arm circle, arm swing stuff, so I'm going to do that. It says 10 reps per side of arm swings.
I need to get closer.
Arm circles.
That's still the charge.
Front to back leg swings, side to side leg swings, and cable external rotation, which is optional. I don't do cable external rotation, so I'm going to optionally throw that the way. Let's do the arm circles, arm swings, front to back, and side to side leg swings. Let's get some blood going, warms up the body a little bit. Let's just feel out the joints. If you guys ever lift, you have really creaky joints because the first thing you do is just go right under a barbell. Sometimes really the joints aren't going to really help. Side to side leg swing, though. Sure.
I'm out of range.
Idiots. It's gonna be First exercise I'm doing is the cuffed behind the back lateral raise. So I have my hypertrophy coach. He's great. I'm going to start warming up for this exercise. There are options for every exercise. I'm actually going to this one because I like the exercise a lot. Also, potentially substitute a cross body wide raise.
That spell isn't ready yet.
I love the fact that there are substitutions. It's really easy when people programs are like, this is what you do. There's a powerlifting program or weightlifting program. Box is all you need. We should just have those around. If it's a hypertrophy program, for machines in the gym, you might some equipment, somebody else might be using the equipment, your shoulders might be a little kind of burnt out on one of them. I love that there are 2 substitutions for each one of them. This is a great program. 3 work sets of 10 to 12 reps. First and second set RPE, about 9 to 10.
It's too far away.
It's really trying super hard. Just close to the most difficulty you've ever had experienced. Set RPE is going to be 10. 9.5 or 10 RPE is can look pretty extreme. You have folks that at least know how to train, basically never do it. Also, like me, actually try it out. So, let's get started.
Introducing the next generation of toning. It's the smartest, most effective strength training system in the world. Made it strong. Now lift up to 250 pounds of adaptive weight. Feel the perfect blend of cardio and strength training. Build muscle up to 2 times faster. This is progress that powers progress. Progress.
Shiver me timbers. We're in our orange juice, you guys. I have 1 to 2 sets, 1 to 2 minutes of rest as per program, and I have to get a similar number of reps. So, my reps on this last set. It says my reps are taken when you extend the set beyond failure by taking short mini rests. Again, a few extra reps in between mini rests. Do 10 to 12 reps, reaching failure. Rest for 5 seconds, do another 3 or 4 reps. So another 5 seconds, do another 3 or 4 reps. Repeat until you can no longer get at least 3 reps. 5 seconds. Let's give it a shot.
I can't pass that yet.
Still got 3. I keep going. Ish 2. Rep over. Go down a little bit. I'm just gonna next exercise. Let's do it. Alright, folks. Exercise 1 is over. It's pretty tough. What's the next thing I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be doing incline reps.
That spell isn't ready yet.
Gatorade here. You get the powder, mix it with water, and a shaker. It's 45 45 grams of carbs, 2 genius shots, 23 grams of protein each, no fats.
That ability isn't ready yet.
That I develop. It's quite swell. Super easy to open. Just pour
I
it
can't
right in.
use that item yet.
Carb shake. These are delicious to have by themselves, but since I'm trying to have protein plus carbs plus good hydration, mixing the whole thing today. Once I'm done mixing, different flavors. I don't care what the flavors are, to be completely honest with you guys, they all taste really good. I'm broken enough for things just to either taste sweet or just to taste like my regular life, bitter and pointless. So, one shake, and they're completely dissolved. They're already dissolved. Notice there's no creaminess, super smooth. Tastes like an optimal combination of proteins and carbs with no fats at all. Unbelievable.
I need to get closer.
Alright, just critiquing the program here a little bit as I do it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises today in the push number 1. It's a fine number of exercises. More than that,
That's still a choice.
but the number here is quite good. There is an isolation movement for the chest, an isolation movement for the tricep. That works really well. The working sets are anywhere between 2 and 4, which is usually very good. In my own programming, I like to do work sets. So typically, I would do maybe 3 to 5 work sets and do like 1 or 2 fewer exercises, but this is totally a great way to do it. The rep ranges are quite low, they're quite heavy. So on the low incline Smith machine, I'm about to do 8 to 10 repetitions on a set and to do full working sets of that. Pretty intense. Rep ranges just all pretty much work between sets of 5 and sets of roughly 30 reps, even higher. A lot of that's just variation, personal vibe. Some muscles like something better than others, and also injury risk management. I probably don't do a lot of press ups. No, I think it's quite safe. Sets of 10 should
It's
be
too
fine.
far away.
So I'll do that. Overall, this is a very, very logical program. And a little lower RP on these sets. It's going to be 8 to 9 RP on the first 3 sets. The last special set, it's an RP of 9 to 10. And reflecting that this is a compound movement, so tougher, there is a 2 to 3 minute rest break requirement between sets of movements.
Booking.com has stays for absolutely anyone.
I'm out of money.
You can dance at the hotel in the Big Apple, 5 stars. Balcony for your big sofa. Broadway buffs can find their perfect stay. Anyone can. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Eight reps at 275. I'll probably make the adjustment to allow myself 8 to 10 reps. And it means I'll reduce the weight. Reps. You know, I was 255, so 20 pounds light in the first one. I felt good. I think I can get 8 with 3 minutes of rest at 255. I'm gonna risk it. I'm not gonna take the 5s off to 245, say 255. Get 8.
motherfucker. Of course. Oh, lost my buffs. You're not allowed to go AFK in this fucking game. Well, let's see how good we are with without buffs. Because we're not always gonna have buffs. Only 15.
I need to get closer. I'm out of range. I can't cast that yet.
That stun does not last very long at all.
I can't do that yet. It's too far away. Not ready.
Damn.
I can't do that yet. I need to get closer. That spell isn't ready yet. Inventory is full.
How do we remedy that?
I can't carry anymore.
Boar intestine, sputter, ichor, bear meat, chunk of boar meat. Get rid of that. Sputter leg. Get rid of that. That fucker just take my herb. You son of a bitch.
I'm out of range. It's too far away. I can't cast that yet. Not ready yet.
more than a few add-ons without the CPU being downclocked on a i13. Retail crashed every 10 to 20 seconds while attempting to do abrupts Aberus and LFR. After I pushed the down notch to 46, the system default is 55. I was able to, well, a crash. Still don't know. Add-ons. The only thing that seems to make a difference is whether or not the Intel Extreme utility is running or not running. Log that is unstable. Below is my recent logs. Games running. Next clock. Short answer, the CPU has bad cores or not able to handle the current that the motherboard is supplying to the chip. You can turn off a core or two at a time, play the computer until it crashes, then on and turn off two or more until it set the values to the current.
Step into Wix Studio, the web platform for agencies and enterprises.
Hey YouTube, in this video we're going to be discussing a important topic that's come up recently regarding Intel CPUs. This is going to be discussing the recent reports of stability with games crashing and applications crashing to desktop with the 13th gen and the 14th gen, especially the 14th gen. Back when I first built the 13900K desktop PC back in 2022, this was like October when this platform first launched to market. I did a side-by-side comparison video, link in the description up here, the card will be there. At the time, I noticed that there's risks associated with running it out of the box with this so-called unlimited power mode because of the temperatures that the processor was reaching, and it was also thermal throttling. And at the time, I stated that multi-thread workloads could severely long-term damage the processor. So now these processors have kind of been out in the wild for a while, especially the 13th gen processors. Depending on how you've been using it and how they've been cooled, these problems could start manifesting. Now, the 14th gen is basically an overclocked 13th gen. They're both Raptor Cove. They're the exact same silicon. So those are more prone to being unstable if there's issues with power delivery and that sort of thing with the components, if the motherboard's sketchy, etc. But the point that we're making is we need to establish a baseline to show what happens. So obviously we're going to lose performance. And we're going to show that here. So this is the 13900K at stock, unlimited power mode. Right here you can see the PL1, that is the base power level. And power level 2, that's the max turbo power. One thing to note is that the base stock per Intel specification is supposed to be 125 watts. But Gigabyte's motherboard has set it to 4095 watts. Likewise, power level 2, or power limit 2, should be 253 watts for this processor, but again, it's 4,000. So this is what they mean by unlimited power, and I've already talked about this previously. If you guys have watched my live streams, I've already done multiple discussions on this specific topic over a year ago at this point, but that's besides the point. So let's get a baseline using Cinebench to get us our temperatures. So we're going to look at pay attention to the packet temperature, pay attention to the package power, so this one here, see what this ends up doing, and then also up here, core thermal throttling and critical temperature power level. So let's see what happens when we run Cinebench with this stock out-of-box configuration. Keep in mind, this is stock. There you go, 101 Celsius. And you can see it went up to 300, about 300 watts right there. That's like 299. And it's still doing the run. And this is just going to be a single Cinebench run. And there you go. So there's the score. So 38,622. That's the stock. But this is probably related to the problem that people are having with crashes and stability. Because I would wager that the current draw is too much. Over time, the processor is probably just going to wear out more quickly than processors from older generations because it's being pushed so hard. So let's get into the BIOS now and apply Intel's official power limit specifications and see what that does to our PL1 and PL2, and then see how that affects temperatures and see how that affects our performance, because ultimately when you power limit, you're going to lose performance. There's no way around that. Okay, so once you're in the BIOS, now this might depend on your brand of motherboard, but in this case we're using a Z790 Aorus Master from Gigabyte. You're going to want to find the power limit toggle, and that's usually going to be under advanced CPU settings. It might be under the tweaker or the overclocker settings or somewhere in there depending on what it's called in the other brands. So under advanced CPU settings, we're going to look for the power limits, which will be toward the bottom here. So right here, turbo power limits. So the default is auto, you can see right there. We're going to hit this, and now, depending on the motherboard, you might have different settings in here, different presets. Now, this first one here is Intel Power. Intel Power stands for Intel Power On Reset. Power On Reset is an Intel spec, but the problem is, depending on the motherboard, manufacturer, they might not actually follow the spec. In this scenario, Gigabyte does not follow the spec. And I'll show you guys that here. I'm going to set this to Intel Power On Reset. We're going to F10 and go back into Windows, and we're going to show what happens when we select Power On Reset. Okay, once we're back in Windows, you can see now here, power level 1 or power limit 1 is now 253 watts, and power limit 2 is also 253 watts. With Gigabyte's Intel Power preset, it has basically made PL1 equal PL2, which is technically not Intel spec. So this is still not Intel spec. So, which tells you that I'm going to have to manually set Intel specs for this motherboard. But let's see what happens now when we're using this. Let's see what happens to the temperatures, and if we're going to thermal throttle. So pay attention to that. Basically pay attention to anything that turns red. So let's go ahead and run that now and see what happens. And notice that it's not... Okay, it's still getting hot. It gets up to 95. It's running at 95. But notice now the power. Okay, it is still getting to... Yeah. It's starting to... Power limit exceeded. It's doing yes. Thermal throttling is happening. So it's still running into the problem with potential reliability issues. As far as I'm concerned. It's still overheating. It's still, you know, it's exceeding the power limit, etc. And the reason why it's complaining about that is probably because the PL1 is too high. So we're still overheating at 100 Celsius. Although notice that it took longer. We had to go much further into the Cinebench run. So this could be a happy medium if you're dependent on your risk tolerance level. It's technically out of spec because PL1 is not supposed to be 253. It's supposed to be 125. But look at the Cinebench score. So we lost points. In our first default stock run, we scored over 38,000. I think it was 38,600 something. Now we're scoring 37,800. So we've lost almost 1,000 points by doing this. Before we go into the BIOS, I do want to show you guys what Intel's official specifications are, just so I can prove my point here. So right here, this is on Intel's official website for the product page for the 1300K, and you can do the same for any of the other Raptor Cove processors. Processor base power. This is PL1. If you mouse over this question mark, it literally says the time average power dissipation that the processor is validated to not exceed during manufacturing, blah, blah, blah. This is basically PL1. Then and notice it says 125 watts. Now we have maximum turbo power. This is PL2. If we click on this, now this is the short duration sustain. And this one's 253. So that right there is the proof that even with the motherboard's preset for Intel specifications, is that the motherboard's applying the wrong value for PL1, hence why we're running into this overheating and it's using too much power and it's generating too much heat. So now let's go into the BIOS and set the Intel official specifications. Okay, so once again, back in the BIOS we go, and we want to go into advanced CPU settings, and we want to go and find our turbo power limits. So we're going to change this from Intel Power, or whatever it may say on your motherboard, to enabled. And that once enabled, now we can manually set PL1 and PL2. And for those that have watched my channel for a long time now, you probably already have seen this content because I've done this video probably more than a year ago at this point. We've already talked about this topic, but because now it's starting to circulate in the public with more widespread visibility, with a lot of news outlets covering this, now we're going to redo the whole video essentially. So to specify Intel official specifications, you're going to go under package power limit 1, which is PL1, and it says TDP. In mine it's watts, but yours might be in milliwatts or something, so you have to keep in mind the units. You can always check the drop down to see. It says that we're in watts, so I'm going to manually type 125 and hit enter. That is 125 watts. That is the Intel official spec. Now I want to go to package power limit 2. This is the turbo one, and I'm going to set this one to 253. So now I have manually set Intel's official specifications. So now it's going to run as though it were a pre-build from Dell or an Office PC from HP or Lenovo. So that's the changes that we're going to make.
With Geico, we can easily bundle home and car insurance and save even more.
Yeah, just like that breakfast burrito.
There isn't too much hot sauce.
That's all you need to do. Now we're going to go back into Windows and see what are the effects of running it at the official specifications. Okay, now we can see in here that PL1 is correctly set to 125 and PL2 is still 253, and this now matches Intel's official spec. So now we're going to run this and see what happens. Pay attention again to thermal throttling and the temperatures and then the power draw, which is this one right here. So now let's see. So now we can see it does turbo up to 253, but the temperatures, it did spike up to 90, but at that point it leveled off to 125. PL1 took over. The base power took over because of the duration of the full load. And now we're not overheating anymore. And there you go. That's the results of Intel official spec. So one thing that I'll point out, obviously we're not thermal throttling anymore. So Intel specs hold true. You can use an air cooler like a Noctua NHD15, but please don't use something like this. Don't use an Intel stock cooler. That's another way to kill your CPU fast if you're running something like an i9, regardless of whether you're power limiting it or not. You're just going to thermal throttle it. But right here, you can see we have lost a lot of performance. Our multi-score is now 32,512. I mean, we've lost about 16% performance by running it at Intel's base spec. At this power level, it no longer thermal throttles, but it's also performing worse than the Zen 4 CPUs now, because AMD's 7950X and even the 7950X 3D performs better than this, because the Cinebench scores for like a 7950X 3D is like 35 something thousand. The 7950X in productivity is like 37,000, somewhere in there. So now this processor is technically quite a bit weaker than the competition by doing this. But this ensures that it runs within spec, and now it behaves a lot better, as you guys can see from the tests that we've shown here. So if you like this sort of content...
Fucking trash that I have to do this.